Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Very meh round again, boys, but it was a slight bounce back after last week's Armageddon. Captain Nico and scored 1228 and dropped 373 spots. So down to rank 1912. Yeah, hasn't been a good month at all. Hasn't been a good month. Copped a lot of injuries and picked back-to-back shit captain scores. So that is the result. Yeah, so trades looking thin, boys. Trades looking thin. We've got 4 trades left. Depth is good. The run home is going to be very interesting, and I think that I'm going to be hanging on for dear life as it stands. So, yeah. Let's get into it. Let's go over it. Let's go over all the games quickly like I always do. I'll give you my thoughts, and I'll give you my thoughts on some cheeky little pod plays. There's been quite a few pod plays that I've actually mentioned recently that have actually scored quite well that I did not jump on myself. I need to start taking my own advice. So, let's get into it. Bulldogs and Manly. I'm pretty sure everybody owns Karaz. Pretty sure everybody owns Karaz, especially up top. I think it's like 99% ownership. 137 with 2 tries. I honestly thought he was going to get a hat trick there. He could have honestly come close to 200 points. Connor Tracy with one of his best games this season, 129 points. The bloke made so many runs. Jesus Christ. Burton with 124. Man, they just absolutely destroyed Manly, hey? Destroyed Manly. That really, like, the Dogs needed to actually, the Dogs needed to put a statement out there. And this was the game to do it. It's not like Manly Manly had everybody, like, I know that they lost Olakuatu, but they still had a good side. It's not like they were decimated with injuries. They've still got quite a lot of their starting players. So, not a good look for Manly. Preston with a 67. That 67 is pretty much base. Like, what? Did Preston get any attacking stats? Or is that base plus power? That is literally base plus power. You got a line. Oh, yep. Preston got 68 in base plus power. When Preston scores a try for the run home, especially with Galvin in the side, he's getting a lot more ball. Preston will ton up when he scores a try. So I am very happy to own him. But it's quite annoying not owning Kickow at the same time, because Kickow just seems to Kickow was on about 40 points with like 20 minutes to go, and then the floodgates opened up and he ended up on 92. So that was fun to watch, being a non-owner. The rest of the guys, yeah, not real too relevant. Galvin 64, he's coming into his own now. He looks good for the Dogs. Yeah, answered a lot of critics. So, Manly, Turbo with a 76. There's going to be some question marks around Manly at the moment, whether or not Turbo needs to go back to being fullback, because I feel like Lehigh just looked off the pace a lot during that game. He made a lot of bad reads. He just didn't seem to be the man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's either got to be Turbo or it's got to be Cooler at the back there. I don't know whether or not they're going to keep Lehigh at the back there. I think if Turbo is fit and he's running well, which he shows to be, like over the last couple of weeks, he's actually looked a lot better. I think there's definitely a world where they're going to have to put Turbo back there, because if they don't, I think Manly are going to run into a bit of strife on the way home, and they don't need to do that because they are definitely still fighting for a top 8 spot. Moving on, Raiders and the Knights. This was actually a really, really close game up until about halftime, and then the floodgates absolutely opened for the Raiders. So Timoko 134, Fogarty 106, Hudson Young 81 without a try. Oh, I should have got Hudson Young weeks ago. I say it every single week on my pod. Like, if you listen to me pod, like, I say constantly, I'm like, he's the guy, he's the guy. So many injuries have happened in my side where it's made me not go Hudson Young, and it's killing me not having him. Yeah. The only way that I get Hudson Young into my side this week is if I trade a starting player. Like, if I could trade Angus, or I could trade someone to try and get to Hudson, but then, you know, this time of year you don't really want to waste trades on warm bodies, so it makes it hard. Starting with a 53, he downgraded like 14 points. I think he lost a line break for his try, even though he broke the line. See, this is the thing I don't understand with scoring, right? The ball is kicked, right? The ball is kicked. They retrieve the ball. The pass then goes back behind the line, because the line's already there. The pass goes back behind the line. Starling then breaks the line and scores a try. He quite literally breaks the line to score the try. Anyway, that was taken off him. Yeah. So, Tarpany with a 49, his minutes are worrying, but I have no choice at the moment, given Tino is Gornsky. I need to upgrade Tino at some point, but I've only got 4 trades left, so things are looking pretty slim. Horse with a 48. Should have came close to that try at the end. Knights, there's just nothing going on in the Knights. I'm not even going to bother going over the Knights. The only player out of the Knights that I would consider right now is Gagai, and that's it. Mulatalo with the 91. I posted on Supercoach Central that Mulatalo would be a good grab, and people laughed at me. So 91, 40 for 400k. Not a bad shout there. With a try, I think he'll probably continue to score some tries for the run home, because Sharks draw is quite good. But can I just say, this is the thing that pisses me off, especially in Supercoach. I say it over and over again. If it's too good to be true, it always is. It always is in Supercoach. I'm telling you now. If it's too good to be true, it always is. Nicho Hynes and Trindle does not work as a halves combination. It doesn't work. And the sooner Fitzgibbon realises this, the sooner Sharks will be a step forward in regards to making the grand final, winning a premiership, whatever. If Fitzgibbon doesn't understand that the combination between Hynes and Trindle doesn't work, like, mate, you're a first grade coach, and how can... 51 points for Hynes as a captain. Love that. Brayley with a 59. Back to his default settings. Even though, like, Sharks had a really, really poor game, he still scored okay for a hooker. So the rest of the boys are pretty irrelevant. Souths, Hubner with an 81 with a try assist. He will start to make some cash. Hopefully he can actually make a lot of cash over the next 2 weeks. Then I can nuff him down and grab a gun somewhere for my last trade. Yep, the rest of the boys are pretty irrelevant. Ewan Aiken's actually not a bad little shout for a pod play. I'll just say it now. Bunnies have an okay draw. Ewan Aiken will be a good play over the next few weeks. If you are looking at a cheap pod play, I think he's like, what, 500k. If he stays on the edge, he will pretty much score you 60 plus for the remainder of the season if he stays on the edge. So just one to watch if you're looking for a pod. Moving on. Panthers and Tigers. I traded in Edwards for an 85. Thank God. Oh, man. I had Cleary at my flex. See, this is what I'm saying, right? When it comes to SUPERCOACH, a lot of SUPERCOACH is luck. A lot of it is, right? A lot of it is. Now, I had a decision to make before the Storm game. I was like, all right, I'm either going to trade Hughes to Cleary or Teddy to Cleary. Both had merit. Both had complete merit. I was like, righto, what are we going to do here? And I kept on going back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. That was my only trade that I was going to make, right? Oh, him and Yo. Just before the Storm game, I was like, fuck it. Okay, I'm going to trade Teddy to Edwards, and I'm going to leave Hughes. You just want to, like, strangle, like, the SUPERCOACH gods. Man. Like, if I just stuck with my guns and I was like, yep, I'm trading Hughes to Cleary, no dramas, I'd be sitting here right now. Happy days. I'd be cheering. I'd be fucking cheering. I wouldn't have to worry about getting Cleary in this week, blah, blah, blah. But that is how the cookie likes to crumble. So, I now have to go Hughes to Cleary this week. So that's a guarantee. That's one of my trades. Hughes to Cleary with the rest of everyone else who hasn't got Cleary yet. So, moving on. I got Yo in, 83. He downgraded. He was like 94. I'm not sure what he lost, but I'm very, very happy with Yo. The only slight concern I have with him is that I think he might get rested. But I think that he is still a good trade-in for people that don't have him. Casey McLean, 77. Definitely a great pod because they just love going down that left side with McLean and Jenkins. Absolutely love anyone who needs a Panthers attacking player down in your centre. I would highly suggest going Casey McLean, especially this week against the Titans. Brian Toto. Now, this is really starting to annoy me. Last week, he played injured. This week, 49 in base. I don't know why they don't like going out to Brian Toto. They just don't like it for some reason. State of Origin winger, yada, yada, yada. But for some reason, they just want to go left. They just want to go left all game. So, Brian's just pretty much getting his points through base alone through his runs and a few tackle breaks, etc. But, I don't know. I've got a major headache this week in regards to my sit v start. I'll explain everything at the back end of the pod about what I'm going to do, but I have some fucking headaches. I have some headaches. Righto. Nobody in the Tigers is relevant. Warriors and Titans, huge upset for the round. Jaden Campbell with a 115. Thank God for that. He was becoming a pain in the ass. I will not be playing him this week against the Panthers, though. More than happy to do that. The rest of the guys are just, yeah, nobody there. Halasima. I was tossing up between Halasima and Yo. I think I've still made the right choice with Yo. RTS to the 79. He's actually coming along very, very well as a nice pod play for people. I mentioned it not long ago. Aaron Clark with a 59. He's kind of come back to reality a bit. He's kind of like the last 2 or 3 weeks. Let's have a look at Aaron Clark's scores. Yeah, so 61 minutes against the Knights for a 57, 51 minutes for a 59. I think the result of him not carrying, but he's been playing some big minutes over the season. Pretty much 60 plus minutes for the last 10 weeks or so. Yeah. I think Warriors have a great draw, but I think the days... I mean, look, with Aaron Clark, he's only a try assist or a try or whatever it is for a very, very big score for him. I just don't know whether or not he is going to be a threat going forward for the rest of the season. I could be wrong. So, yeah. The rest of the guys, irrelevant. Broncos and Eels, Lomax with a 99. Man, he's just out and out the best centre wing for the run home. I think it was between Herbie and Lomax, but I think with Eels' draw is actually not too bad for the run home. I think he outscores Herbie for the run home, and I'm more than happy to... Yeah, I'm more than happy to say that. I think Lomax will outscore Herbie for the run home. The rest of the boys, pretty irrelevant. Reece Walsh with a 61. It's so annoying. This is what I was saying to him before. If it's too good to be true, it always is, right? You trade in players based on matchups, based on good matchups, and they just don't deliver. Like I traded in Walsh for his... I traded in Walsh a couple of weeks ago. I was like, Titans, Parramatta, and then Souths. Beautiful. And he's just gone 79, 61. He does have... Look, he does have a very, very good matchup this week against Souths. Souths now lose Whiten and Totola. So, Souths are decimated. Yeah, Sorry about that, guys. Just had a phone call. All good. Back to talking about Walsh. So Walsh, So Walsh is someone that obviously I traded in a couple of weeks ago and hoping that he could go a lot bigger than expected. But I think there's a ton. I think he'll score quite well this weekend against South. So fingers crossed. Broncos are going to be looking to bounce back after that loss against Parramatta. I think Walsh is in for a big one. So, especially with more injuries to the Bunnies. Righto. Let's talk about Payne Haas. Now, he rolled his ankle at the end of the game. He was on ice. His break-even is now 133. I was very much considering getting him in this week, and I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I think there's definitely a world where you can now probably not run with Haas, but it might get a little bit scary if they do. Let's just say they rest him this week and he comes back. The Broncos have a nice draw for the run home. They've got Dolphins, Knights and Cows. Now, they got Melbourne in round 27. Melbourne will probably rest a lot of players. Haas probably gets rested as well that game. If they've secured a top 6, top 8 spot, I dare say they will rest him in that round. So, I mean, look, if you haven't got Payne Haas, you could probably just go without him. He's got Melbourne next week. He's got Dolphins at Suncorp. Like, you've probably got maybe like 3 games there, 24, 25, 26, where he could be a bit of a nervous watch. But he's just injured. He's just like literally he's playing injured, and I just don't know if it's worth burning a trade or burning 2 trades to get him in. We'll see how he looks this week. If he plays this week, he's got a BE of 122. He could drop a decent amount of cash. He could come out this week and score 60 again. Because let's just say Broncos pile the points on against the Bunnies. Absolutely smash the Bunnies. They win 40-0. They win 30-0, 38, whatever, right? I can guarantee you right now, if the Broncos get out to a very, very juicy lead at some point during this game, Payne Haas is getting an early shower. So with a break-even of 133, I will not be getting him this week. Yeah, moving on for that one. Karapani, 36. Another, yeah. It's very, very annoying because, like, you want to play these players, especially in good matchups, and then you play them and they score poorly. So I'm ready to be hurt again. I'll be playing him again this week, but yeah, not very happy about it. This was probably the worst officiated game I've ever seen between the Dragons and the Cowboys. You know what? At this point in time, I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered defending the Dragons anymore. It's one of those things, right? So the Dragons have just been absolutely slammed with injuries, right? Slammed with injuries all season. And their depth has been so poor. They're playing New South Wales Cup players. They have the worst halves in the comp. And yet they still managed to score 32 points against the Cowboys. Yeah. 91 Dearden, 165. Mate, he's a... If you want a pod play for the run home, Tom Dearden. Cows have a very good run home. Minus 15 break even. Sharks, Parramatta, Knights, Tigers, Broncos. Very, very nice draw for the Cowboys for the run home. Really don't mind the Dearden shout. Yeah. Drinky with a 91, Robson with a 74, Nanai with a 56. He's another good one to look at if you want a pod play for the run home. He just needs a try and he will score very, very well. Yeah. Roosters and Storm, 30-34. Hughes goes down. Yeah. Anyway, traded Teddy, 64 points. I don't think I'm going to be mad about trading Teddy for the run home. I think a part of me might be hoping that's the case. It's like a 50-50. I hope that he doesn't hurt me, but I think he won't. I just don't like the Roosters run home, and I think Sam Walker has killed Tedesco. Since Sam Walker has been back, Teddy has scored 37 and 64. He now runs into Manly, who are desperate for a win after that flogging. Dolphins at Suncorp, Bulldogs, Parramatta, Melbourne, Souths. I don't really like... Tedesco's Tedesco, right? He's the best Supercoach fullback in the game. He can definitely score well at any given moment, but I don't think he is going to be... I don't think he's going to hurt anyone that doesn't own him. Like, have a look at... Since round 16, he's gone 77, 84, 37, 64. It's very, very hard to think that Tedesco can go back to the scores that he was doing in the middle of the season when he was on fire to try and pick it back up again through the back end when he's... I think he's honestly cooked. I think he's genuinely out of steam at the moment, and it's a mix between being out of steam and Sam Walker fucking his shit up. So, yeah. Connor Watson with a 55. He's been terrible for owners who jumped on him 3 weeks ago. Angus with a 53. He's been terrible as well. Mark... There's genuine chat now. Honestly, Mark is someone who you only play on matchup. You'll only play Mark on matchup. I'm telling you now. 32, 34, 47 in his last 3 games. If they don't go right, if they're just going to be targeting the left, I would be staying well away from Mark. I didn't play him on the weekend. I played Karapani over Mark, thinking that was just going to be the absolute play, but they pretty much scored very, very similar. But yeah, play Mark on matchup only, guys. Harry Grant with a 113. He's going to be... I reckon he's going to be up there with one of the run-home hookers. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious here. With Hughes going down, I think Grant is going to be taking up a lot of ball and doing a lot more runs. Yep, Katoa with a 36. So, if you've got the trades, and you've got luxury trades, I would very much consider trading out Katoa. Without Hughes, Katoa doesn't even, like, his attacking threat drops significantly without Hughes. And the Storm's draw is actually quite tough for the run home. Let's have a look at the Storm's draw for the run home. So they go Parramatta this week, which you'll probably play. Broncos in Melbourne, Penrith, Bulldogs, Roosters, Broncos. Tough draw. If you've only got 4 or less trades, don't trade out Katoa. If you've got a few trades left in the bank, I would very much consider trading Katoa out for a nice pod play for the run home. Yeah, outside of that, not much doing. Righto. Let's have a look at my team quickly and let's just talk about what I'm going to do. So obviously I've just gone Hughes straight to Cleary. I'm going to be captaining Cleary this week against the Titans. I'm not even going to second guess it. Dry track, 3 o'clock, up at Gold Coast. No brainer. My issue is my sit v starts. Now, my sit v starts this week are annoying. I'm tempted to not play Angus, but he's got Manly. Manly are leaky on the edges. I don't know whether or not to play Angus over a Katoa or over a Preston or over a Yo. There's every world where I just don't play Angus. Jaden Campbell has Penrith this week at home, but Jaden Campbell can just score 60 plus by not doing much at all. So he's someone that I've got to look at maybe not even playing. I then go down to my centre wing. Not going to play Mark, Karapani, Toto. But then look, you've got players like Garrick, who he's got a tough matchup this week against the Roosters. He could come out and score sub 50 again this week. So, yeah, it's hard. But I think what I'm going to be doing is I'll play Brian, I'll play Karapani, Garrick, Karaz, Lomax. Oh man, I hate. Honestly, remember me saying this. I'm not going to play Jaden Campbell, and he's going to score well against Penrith. Yeah. Outside of that, guys, that will just about do me. I've got 3 trades left, 120k in the bank. So I need to be very, very careful with holding on to these last 3 trades. I haven't gotten rid of Tino yet. He's going to turn into someone soon, or we'll just run May and Tarpany. But Tarpany's got a buy coming up soon, so that's going to be a little bit of a headache. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in, guys. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, let the run home begin. Cheers, guys.